How are you doing, mate?
Well, it's the middle of the afternoon, Franklin, so it's a bit of an odd one that we're recording this. 2:30 in the afternoon on a Wednesday. I feel like I'm again still living the retirement dream here. I'm absolutely roasting though, so I'm going to open a window.
Yeah, I've just opened one there because I had the heating on and it was rather cold.
Yeah, in the terms of Glenfrey, the heat is on.
Yeah, earlier on, but
just taken Brodie to the vets. My dog. Not Richard.
Richard, yeah. Well, we'll talk about Richard later in the show.
Richard, yeah. No, Brodie is fine. He's looking relatively healthy, just needs a little bit of medication to see him through the next week. He's absolutely fine. He's at home.
I was going to say to you that when Lottie was alive, of course, she often had brought blood up, but there's many, numerous reasons why that happens, and nothing too bad.
No, the
most
vet
of the time, thankfully.
Yeah, exactly. So the vet told us that there's a number of reasons for Brodie having brought up blood, which he did, only in little bits though, so it's all right. But she said that having popped capillaries might be a reason. So she's given him a probiotic, and then that's it. So he's doing
expensive.
Fine. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate all that vets do. I'm sure they're wonderful human beings, but it is so expensive. So the consultation fee alone was about £55, and then the medication on top of that. So I'm out of pocket quite considerably. I'm currently selling several items of clothing on Vinted to try and to try and assuage the financial hit that I'm taking at the minute.
The thing about it is, if we didn't have an NHS and we had to pay for our own health, I think you'd probably reduce the population by 10 million overnight, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Yeah.
But actually sort of highlights the fact that we probably treat our dogs better than ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. Yeah, but why wouldn't they? Would do the exact same thing for us? Bless them. Yeah, dogs would treat us better than they treat each other. That's without a single doubt. So other than that, I've just been pottering about in the garden, turning over the house. Getting rid of bits and bobs here and there. Been at the gym. Like I say, just being a pensioner. Quite honestly, doing my weekly shop at 11 o'clock in the morning. Bananas.
Well, I managed to get myself back into the gym on what day are we on now?
We're on Wednesday.
Tuesday, so it was yesterday.
Attaboy.
Yeah. But on Monday night, we took a trip to Blackpool.
Did you?
Yeah.
Fabulous.
And normally I go twice a year to go and see the lights. I'm still like a little bit of a kid. I always remember me parents taking me there, if not my auntie and uncle. So we always have fond memories. Blackpool's probably not the nicest of places when you scrape sort of beyond the surface, but I still went there. But the primary aim to go there was on Sunday night was sitting in the bingo at St Helens in Mecca. I know this Mecca, St Helens. We're sitting there, and then across the town eye comes Blackpool. So everybody was winning all these sort of, the regional sort of games were all in Blackpool. So I just said to Rowan, I said, I think we need to go to Blackpool tomorrow.
Yeah, it was a sign, wasn't it?
Yeah, and sort of two jobs at the same time. She doesn't like going to Blackpool, so I thought, well, at least if we go to Blackpool and we have a night at the bingo, then we can do the lights on the way back, which is what we did. We didn't win anything at all. So it was a wasted trip in that sense.
It's a fix.
Yeah, well, you know what? We were expected to hear St Helens, but it
never materialised.
Yeah, well, thankfully it didn't, because we'd have felt even more cheesed off that.
Oh, you'd have been flying back down the M6.
We were unfaithful to St Helens, you see. We'd have been unfaithful, but there you go.
It's part and parcel of trying to win, quite honestly.
Yeah. I'm not going to talk about the football too much, because we'll talk about that in the proper football show, but I've still had a smile on my face. Right up to this point now. It's excellent.
Look at that. It's all positives here on it.
Yeah. Well, listen, we'll definitely talk about that later on. But is there anything else that we haven't covered?
Not in the outside of the world of football. So I suggest we swan dive on in there.
Yeah, let's get on with the show.
Come.
Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. I'm Frank Hughes, the chairman of Skelmersdale United Football Club, and alongside me is my co-host and passionate press officer, AJ the Jet. Not that being involved in the football club is a prerequisite for hosting a football podcast, but it certainly helps. We are ready to dive headfirst into the vibrant world of non-league football in the Northwest, and we might even take a moment to discuss some of the bigger headlines in the sport. We'll explore life in the Northwest counties, bring you interviews with well-known faces in the league, and analyse how local teams are performing while making bold predictions for their upcoming matches. Nothing is off the limits here. We'll be diving into all kinds of topics, including complicated refereeing decisions and regulations that often leave fans perplexed. We want to hear from you too. This is your show, so don't hesitate to reach out with topics you want us to tackle. Let's get this conversation started and enjoy every single moment. We are speaking frankly. Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. This is Season 2, Episode 16, and a warm welcome to my co-host, AJ.
Hello, Frank. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning into another episode of the Speaking Frankly Football Show. They still haven't cut off our airwave access just yet, so we're still going to be here for the time being. Now, on the show, the FA Vase is in full flow last weekend, so we'll round up the big winners from the local area there. We will, of course, take a trip through the Northwest counties and do a bit of a roundup there. We will have a look at Clitheroe, Lower Breck, Bury, Prescott Cables as well, and we're going to visit Controversial Corner, including a particular incident involving Staveley, Avro, Kidsgrove, and then also Wythenshawe against Holker Old Boys. There is no guest today.
So we're going to do all the show in one go. We're going to do it in one shoot.
We are. So hold your breath, get a brew, do whatever you need to do. You still have access to pause, but we won't. So, yeah, Frank's got his water, I've got mine, I'm settled down, my shoes are off. So, let's go!
Yeah. So let's start with the FA Vase. I mean, quite a controversial sort of issue we'll probably open up on, because you can explain this better than I. I've only just realised what it all entailed. But Wythenshawe versus Holker Old Boys at the weekend. Holker Old Boys managed to win the game. On penalties?
On penalties, yes, they did, except they didn't.
Right, so go on, explain.
Okie dokie. So, the game between Wythenshawe and Holker Old Boys has been ordered by the FA to be replayed, and I will tell you why. So, Holker Old Boys put out a statement on Wednesday morning, today, saying that they want to express their disappointment at the decision to order a full replay of the FA Vase fixture against Wythenshawe. The decision arose solely due to an error made by an FA-appointed and qualified referee who failed to correctly apply the laws of the game during the penalty shootout. At the time, Holker Old Boys acted entirely in accordance with the referee's instruction, an instruction which has since been deemed incorrect by the FA itself. And then they outlined their concerns that a referee mandated, trained and qualified by the FA wasn't able to interpret the law correctly, and as a result the club now faces unnecessary financial and logistical burdens, including the costs associated with a replay, the loss of prize money and the rearrangement of a scheduled league fixture, because down at this level of the footballing pyramid, cup games take priority over league games, and so any league game has to be postponed and moved on in priority of a cup game. The club firmly believes that they should not be penalised for the mistakes of officials acting under the authority of the governing body. The players earned the result on the day, and we maintain that the outcome of the original fixture should stand. They have always approached the FA Vase with respect and pride, viewing it as a prestigious competition within the game. We hope the FA will recognise the seriousness of the situation and ensure that appropriate lessons are learned to prevent similar incidents in the future. So what had happened was Wythenshawe a Wythenshawe player, Will Callaghan, received a red card. And when the fixture went to penalties, the rules state that Holker are obliged to nominate a player to step away from the penalty shootout in order to make it 10 players versus 10 players, and therefore making it an equal amount of contributors towards the penalty shootout. Holker Old Boys nominated their goalkeeper with the viewing that the goalkeeper doesn't take a spot kick. The referee then accepted this. What they failed to take into account, though, was that in nominating the goalkeeper to not take a spot kick, it should have accounted for the goalkeeper not facing the Wythenshawe penalties as well, which is where the error was made, because the Holker goalkeeper still faced the penalties from Wythenshawe players, but didn't take a penalty himself. He shouldn't have been able to do either if he had been nominated, which is where the ruling was incorrectly interpreted by the referee. So that's where...
I still don't get that, because
okay.
You've neutralised it so that Holker Old Boys are down to 10. But you've taken... I still don't understand it. You've taken the goalkeeper out of the equation, but the goalkeeper's still on the pitch.
Yeah, and was able to face the penalties by the Wythenshawe players. Had the referee applied the ruling correctly, he should have not been able to either take the spot kick or face the spot kicks.
So the rule, in essence, then, is if it got to 9-9, then the goalkeeper would have been forced into taking a penalty. That's the way I see it.
Oh, that's interesting.
I wonder where the rules falls down.
So he wouldn't have been because they'd elected to take him away from taking penalties, but he was still able to face them. So
that's what I'm thinking, that because they're down to 10 men, they've only got to have 10 players on the pitch.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. So in essence,
so they've not taken the goalkeeper out of the equation.
They took him out of the equation for taking a penalty.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying to you, is that would have only been valid had he had been forced into taking a penalty.
True. Yeah. But he.
I need somebody to really explain that.
It's a little bit of a headache. But ultimately, what it means is that the referee applied the rules of the game incorrectly. He should have advised Holker Old Boys that if the goalkeeper had been taken out of the equation, one of their outfield players would have had to don the goalkeeper's jersey and gloves and step in to face the penalties from Wythenshawe players, thereby making it a complete 10-10 equal setting.
I think you can see about the confusion on my face. I still haven't got this one. But...
No, I can understand it, and I can understand it from both sides. I get that Wythenshawe, would have made this, error in judgment known to the FA, and therefore a replay would have been ordered. But I get the frustration from Holker, because they'd earned a win against a team higher up in the division. It was a bit of a heavyweight matchup, if you like. Holker, as we know, in the remotest area of Barrow-in-Furness in Cumbria, having to travel all the way down a lot of the M6 through Cumbria, Northern Lancashire and into central Manchester to replay this game. That's a big loss of money.
Well, listen, it was a giant killing in itself, because Holker Old Boys were beating the team in the higher division. But listen, I still don't understand it. But if somebody can explain that better to me, then I'll take on board what they're saying. But listen, we'll go around the rest of the FA Vase. The biggest win out of the Northwest counties was Prestwich Hayes, who managed to batter Maltby Main 9-1 amongst the goal scorers. Was former Skem United player Luke Byron, who scored a hat-trick. So
that's ruthless play from Prestwich Hayes there. 9-1 though, God. Does that give a bit of an indication? Because a lot of the teams that we saw across the FA Vase, the Northwest appeared to kind of firmly be in the driving seat there.
Yeah, I don't know how it finished in the end, because we know that Ashton Town and Atherton LR went pretty far last season to the 4th or 5th round.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I think Atherton LR were the standalones, weren't they? Didn't they get the quarterfinals?
I'm not too sure, but they definitely beat Ashton Town, didn't they, to progress into the to the next round. But
Yeah.
as a result of that, now Earlham, who beat Shildon 5-4 on penalties, will play Prestwich Hayes in the next round.
Yeah, at Prestwich Hayes. So that's a really good tie for Prestwich Hayes. I'm sure they were hoping for a far more adventurous tie than Earlham, as it just means mooching from North Manchester over to Salford.
Yeah.
So not an enormous amount of expense, but they'll have thoroughly enjoyed their day there. And now
back to what you were saying before, though,
Yeah.
we don't know a great deal about the likes of the Maltby Mains and
the Northeast
and other teams.
No, we really don't. We're looking to kind of expand into northeastern territory there to try and get a bit of a gauge as to what it's like on the other side of the Pennines in terms of semi-professional football, because from what we see over here, and it may just be a little bit of bias going on there, we saw a lot of victories for northwest-based teams against Yorkshire-based teams and Derbyshire. So we have to.
But if we focused more broadly, then our 3.5 hour sessions would probably turn to 6.5 hour sessions, and I don't think I've got enough storage on my provider.
No, I think we probably don't. So anyway, moving on through the FA Vase, and we're going to come to Burscough. So I got told by Burscough's new chairman Jay Hawkes last week that I need to be a bit more kind about his team moving forward, and I'm a fair, understanding, reasonable.
Was that why he had you in half, Nelson?
That was while I was shut in the boot of his car. No. So yes, I'm a nice, polite, understanding young man, and as a broadcaster on this show, I fully understand the need for feedback and critical points and taking it all on. So here we go. Burscough beat Billingham Synthonia 6-0. And now we move on. They're going to play Ashton Town in the third round following Ashton's 1-0 win over Darman. Frank?
Yeah, listen, we talked to Jay last week about the sort of little bit of canvassing of locals for extra support. They managed to get a crowd of 200, which in a FA Vase Cup game sounds rather good.
For Burscough. No, sorry, Jay. Sorry. No, that is a really good turnout. That is, generally speaking, that's about double the amount of turnout that they have been having over the last year or so. And I think it probably goes to show just how hard Jay is working to try and envelop Burscough Football Club within their community and make them known to the local people. So they've beaten Billingham Synthonia in style in front of a very healthy crowd, and their reward for that is that they will play Ashton Town at home in the third round following Ashton's 1-0 win over Darwin. Yeah, so it's a very good result.
Looking at some of the other results in the FA Vase, Barnoldswick managed to beat AFC Liverpool. Chadderton beat Eccleshill United. And Carlisle City managed to beat Exton Villa on penalties. I'm just trying to look at any of the other standout. Well, of course, Nelson beating Harrogate Railway Athletic 3-0. I mean, if you look at the league table as well now, Nelson have only played 8 games.
Nelson playing 8 games, but they are third in the league, something like that.
Yeah,
that's silly behaviour, that one. I mean, that probably goes to show just how well they're doing since we.
They're in a hell of a run, aren't they?
Oh, it's a stunning run, that one. I think was that about 10. I think that's 10 games unbeaten now. They won the other night against Steeton back in league action. A Luke Heppel double, securing 3 points back over the other side of the Pennines for them. And we talked about this last year. They're still, unbelievably, they've still got a negative goal difference, but they're 2 points behind Droylsden, having played 3 games less. So it's absolutely phenomenal turnaround from Nelson.
Yeah, just not a lot of goals getting scored there, really, is there?
Not a lot of goals getting scored, but they're doing enough.
Those goals conceded were early doors, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. They had some big losses overall. I think they lost to. It was in McGull that they lost to by about 5 or 6 goals to 1, or something kind of outrageous like that. But nonetheless, they seem to be back on form. Drorsden were also in FA Vase action at the weekend. They beat Penistone Church by 2 goals to 1, a last-minute winner by Liam Moran, securing a passage into the second round for the Bloods in front of a really good crowd over in Penistone of 341. I've no doubt that the travelling contingent will have made up a major part of that turnout there in where are we? East Riding of Yorkshire, I think it is.
Yeah. Ramsbottom managed to beat Yarrow. It is Yarrow 3-0. Good victory for them there.
Yes,
they've got a really come into a really sort of rich vein of form at the moment.
They are, yeah.
We'll talk about that in the Northwest Counties roundup.
We will.
Just to finish it off there in the FA Vase. I'm just looking at the.
Yeah,
Runcorn Town managed to lose at home to Fulwood Amateurs.
That's unusual.
3-1. Yeah, but
2 more for
Fulwood Amateurs can. They can do the business on the day, can't they?
Spencer Lucas in particular, I think he's already in the top 5 goal scorers of the Northwest Counties. Currently, he got 2 more in Merseyside there, in front of a good gate of 104. So Fulwood Amateurs on to the second round as well.
Yeah, so listen, we'll go on to the Northwest Counties roundup.
Yes, we will.
We'll look at Padiham, they're still top of the Northwest Counties. They managed to beat Cheriton 3-2 on Tuesday night.
They certainly did. So a major contributor of that Padiham result was Tyler James. Tyler James, who is registered to Bury but signed on loan to Padiham about a week ago. Came off the bench in their last game, but started last night on Tuesday night and scored 2 goals to secure a huge victory for them over who I've no doubt will be promotion rivals in Chadderton. These are the games that any title-winning team has to win, really, and I think Padiham made a major point by winning at Chadderton there. So they took 3 points back to East Lancashire with them, despite Lewis Simon Byrne scoring yet again for Chadderton. Padiham came back to win through Tyler James's double and then Jack Price as well.
Now, Burscough managed to beat Exton Villa 3-0, and they're currently topping the form table. I think there's 3 teams there that have won the last 6 games. And it looks as though their ability to score goals and stay tight at the back seems to be the cornerstone of their success right now. And there seems to be a good feel factor certainly there after speaking to Jay last week, and the changeover in chairmanship seems to all be going swimmingly.
I think Jay will be delighted with that. 2 wins from 2 since he assumed the chairman's position there at the community ground, having kind of cantered to a 6-0 win over Billingham Synthonia. They follow that up with a 3-0 win against Exton Villa, so scoring 9 goals and not conceding any in the 2 games on a quite a bitter wet Tuesday night. So it was over in L40. That result moves them up to 5th in the table, 2 points behind Wythenshawe, having a very healthy goal difference of plus 14. In fact, they made a racing start with Stephen Rigby opening the scoring from the spot after 8 minutes. Sam Turner doubled that lead just before the half-hour mark, but then it was the 5th minute of injury time when Charlie Street added the gloss on an excellent performance over Villa. I think Jay he'll probably agree with me on this one. He still has a little bit of work to do on enticing the villagers through to the community ground there on a Tuesday night. Tuesday night fixtures are never particularly easy to be attended to.
The weather's going to get colder as well.
The weather is going to get colder as well. So attendance dipped just below 100 on that Tuesday night. But Jay isn't going to be stopping here. He's going to keep canvassing and blowing the Burscough horn, and I think we'll see those gates rise right back up there.
Yeah, and we're hoping to have Dave Dempsey on the show next week. All going well.
Fantastic. He's the manager, by the way.
Yes, he most definitely is. Listen, Glossop North End, currently bottom of the form table. They just can't buy a win at all. They were winning 1-0 at Longridge on Saturday, but ended up losing the game after conceding 2 goals in injury time.
Yep.
Dylan Fitzgerald suffered a broken leg during the game, so the result was the last thing on their minds, I guess. On Tuesday night, they travelled to a team with a rise in form, Ramsbottom United, and looked to have done enough to end a draw, only to see concede a goal in the last 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And it obviously meant they lost again. By all accounts, Glossop were the better team. They just signed Conor Berry to add some strength up top. So all in all, the feeling was that they weren't a million miles away from turning the corner until Wednesday afternoon, earlier on today, before we just started recording, when the board decided to sack Richard Brodie.
Deeply disappointing there across the board for Glossop. We've made no secret of the fact that Richard Brodie is a very well-liked member of the community there over at Glossop. He managed Scam, and we're always happy to see him and hear from him and speak to him. But on paper, the results just weren't stacking up for North End, unfortunately. Just defeat after defeat, and what seems to be a recurring theme, so desperately disappointing for them, is that they seem to be switching off in the final 5 minutes or so. There's multiple times this season when it looked like a draw or a win had been on the cards, but then it's just been snatched away with them by their own team sort of turning off before the whistle's been blown. I think that the situation at Glossop and the environment surrounding it is challenging. They are quite remote, so it's not easy to pull in new signings, from far-reaching places, and then losing Dylan to a horror injury. It wasn't just a broken leg; it was a double leg fracture and a dislocated ankle to boot. It was an absolute horror injury.
I believe one of the breaks is in the same place as a previous break as well,
wow.
Which by all sounds could be a career-ending injury. I don't
Possibly.
know. I'm just guessing on that one. Listen, we have to give a balanced opinion as a chairman of a football club.
Yeah.
7 consecutive defeats, raises the question.
Yeah.
And given the sort of, we're looking at the end of October going into November.
Yeah.
You certainly want to get results coming together before the Christmas turnaround period, because those teams that tend to be at the bottom turn Christmas tend to be relegation fodder come the end of the season. So it's hard to say that when you're talking about a friend, but I think they've been unfortunate. I think Lewis Riley left to go on his travels, didn't they? So they lost him as a goal scorer.
Yeah.
They brought Dylan in, and Dylan's been scoring a few goals as well, and then obviously suffers with that injury break. And then you look at Conor Berry, who's been drafted in, and he's really not had enough time to settle in to start scoring goals for him.
Of course not, no.
And I think they would have been playing. Did they have been playing Charnock at the weekend?
I think it
might
have been Charnock. Well, you and I attended that fixture last year, didn't we? And Brodie, and they won that. They
a dramatic win.
It was a penalty.
And they were struggling at the time, then, weren't they? I think.
They weren't having the greatest of times. I think they were about 17th, 16th in the league. For context, they're 20th now. So they're still, healthily quite far away from the relegation battle at this point. Sort of good 5-6 points away, but the run of results, unfortunately, and the amount of goals that they appear to be leaking as well, I think is it's a really difficult thing to try and not the goals they're conceding, sorry, the goals that they're scoring or lack.
They're not being doing too bad in terms of goals conceded.
Yeah, they are the second lowest goal scorers in the division, second only to bottom club Litherland Remica. So it's hugely disappointing for Richard and for Glossop. I don't think that they wanted to make this decision unless they felt that they absolutely had to for the preservation of Glossop North End in the Premier Division.
Whilst it'll be interesting to see who replaces Brodie, we'd just like to wish him the best of luck moving forward. And he gets back into football ASAP.
Very much so, yeah. Interestingly enough, this now is the third team of the bottom 5 in the Premier Division that have dispensed with the services of their manager.
That's why you're on the show, because I didn't pick that one up. So go on, who else is... Well, we obviously know Litherland lost their manager.
Yeah.
FC Arnhem did as well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So those are the 3 teams that have dispensed, after the first dozen and a half games of the league season. And my wondering is, even at this level, managers, do they get as much time as what they should be? Like, is there a way that Brodie could have reasonably turned this round? Like, what's you're a chairman, so you will have had to go through this at one point or another during your tenures.
Well, I think we've mentioned it on the show before, haven't we? I mean, the decision.
Of course, we have.
The decision to, sack Matt Potter was a decision that I sort of regretted, because I did it early doors and probably around about mid-October, so not too far away from the position with Brodie. Then you give a season to the likes of Pascal the rest of the season to Pascal Chimbonda. That didn't work out. No. Last season we stayed loyal to Tommy Lawson because we felt as though we weren't providing him with the necessary tools to establish a squad quick enough to be competitive in that division. Yeah. And then, of course, we made the decision very, very early on to sack Nick Matthews, and you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So you've got one side that are baying for blood, and you've got the other side saying, well, you need to be staying calm in this situation, and it's not as bad as. It's not all that bad. You haven't given it enough time. The pressure on a football club is enormous. It doesn't matter what level it is. And it doesn't matter how many supporters. The one thing that begins to sort of realise is that most of the negative nannies are the keyboard warriors that don't actually turn up to the game.
Given the Glossop,
but they've got a fairly decent sort of hardcore group of supporters there, and they are quite vocal when they want. Yeah,
they are. Glossop is actually a well-supported club, both online and at the Asgard Engineering ground. I just wonder whether, because they're not adrift at the bottom. In fact, they're 20th, and I know that they've played more games than anybody around them, but they're still, healthily ahead of several of the teams. Was this premature, do you think?
Well, it depends on what your opinion is. If you're a director or the chairman, your views will differ to that of the manager. The manager will seek the possibility of improvement. You keep willing for it to happen. It doesn't. You're getting beaten late on in games. That sort of makes you feel that you're not a million miles away from being successful either. But from a club perspective, from the directors and the chairman, are they thinking, well, we just can't let it go any longer? We even though we can see signs of a change, we just can't. How much longer do you give it? And I don't think there's any answer to it. I think if it I don't know. If it had been me, I'd have seen the improvements myself and has spotted them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that all chairmen and directors don't realise the difference between a good and bad team, but when you've been involved with football for as long as I have, you tend to get to know when a club is about to turn the corner. So it's harsh, and it's harsh on the board of directors, it's harsh on the manager.
Yeah, it is. And particularly given that if they win one game and, they get good luck on the results around them, they're up by 3-4 places. They're up to 17.
2 wins, the middle of the table. 3 wins, they're not far outside the playoffs. Yeah. It's crazy.
It is.
There's no doubt about it. It's crazy, and it's upsetting as well, because nobody wants to see a manager lose his job.
No.
Even a chairman doesn't want to. You don't want to pull the plug. You just don't want to do it. But sometimes you have to make that decision, and unfortunately, on this occasion, it's not in the favour of Richard, and I know how disappointed he'll be. But listen, let's hope he gets back to football.
Very much so.
Because the one thing we do know about him is he's very passionate, very hard-working as well.
Yeah, he absolutely is. I agree with that. So, Richard, from us, all the very, very best, mate.
Yeah, and good luck to Glossop moving forward
as
well. AFC Liverpool snatched a draw from the jaws of defeat on Tuesday night, courtesy of a Ben Barnes assist. Now, you've seen the video?
I have seen the video 3 times, and I think it's brilliant.
So we're at the end of the game. They're losing 2-1.
They are.
And Ben's decided to go forward.
He's gone up for a corner, in typical sort of Peter Schmeichel fashion. But to be honest, if there is any goalkeeper that you want in the box for a corner in the last minute when you're 1-0 down or 2-1 down as they were, it's Ben Barnes, isn't it? I mean, the guy he's not called Big Ben without reason. Let's be honest there.
No, he'd have caused havoc in a giant shop, wouldn't he?
And that's it. He caused absolute mayhem in there. So the Charnock Richard were 2-1 up there, courtesy of 2 Jordan Dart goals, putting them in control for half time. Elliot Taylor gets a goal back for AFC Liverpool just before the hour, and then in the last minute, the corner comes swinging in, and I can't actually believe this because he had to stoop. It was a stiving header on the stoop. He flicks it towards the back post, and it's bundled into the corner by Mark Madden. I mean, the technique to get down as low as he did and flick it.
Would it have gone in if he'd left it?
No. It wouldn't have. No. It was going wide. So, Madden did exactly the right thing by pouncing on that one and sticking it in the back of the Charnock Richard net. But all the plaudits there went to Ben Barnes, as I'm sure you can imagine.
Listen, we know he's a frustrated centre forward. Anyway, all goalkeepers are, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
So he's no stranger to going up front.
No, exactly. No, he's not. No, but
when he's playing in these legend games or whatever they are.
The
over the hill mobs.
That's the one.
I'm not suggesting he's over the hill, because he certainly isn't.
I mean, I'm not going to tell him that.
No. Like I should.
No. But a tremendous contribution towards seizing a point for AFC Liverpool. A very vital point there that keeps them within touching distance of FC Isle of Man and Abbey Hay, who are just 4 points behind, ahead of them in the table standings, and also increases their lead over over Little and Remica at the bottom of the table to 4 points as well, with their second draw of the season. So very, very well done to Ben and AFC Liverpool there.
Yeah, and just to conclude on the business of AFC Liverpool, Carl Lancaster decided to step down. Was it a week or so ago? I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, wow.
But he's been there with the club for a while now, since he left Skem a couple of seasons ago. So best of luck to him moving forward.
Oh, yeah. No, very much so. It's a difficult... I think if you take on the management job at any Liverpool-based semi-pro football team, it's going to be quite difficult because there are so many... so much competition around you. I mean, we've talked about the dilution of talent to, so many teams in that Liverpool area. I mean, you've got AFC Liverpool, South Liverpool, City of Liverpool, Little and Remica. All of those teams within that area. It makes it difficult to kind of attract talent, keep it, pay them what they want, get a good turnout at the games, and then still have a decent fighting chance of of going up the league. So it's automatically a challenge, isn't it? And Carl Lancaster's decided now's the right time to step away with the Reds second from bottom of the table at this point.
And just going back to Ben Barnes, that was his first game back since his holiday in the lakes, climbing
nice
Scarfell amongst others.
Lovely.
So he's obviously kept himself fit while he was away, went straight back into goal and obviously pulls off that masterstroke. So well done to Ben, and good luck to Carl moving forward. So moving on to Division 1 North, only one team in the top 5 played. McGull managed to end a run of 5 consecutive defeats with a massive 7-0 win over Steeton. Thought it'd be much tighter, but Jacob Till, as he often does, scored another hat-trick. Really good result.
He's kind of just running away with it at the minute. He opened the scoring within the first minute, got a second before half-time, and then a third just before the hour mark as well. So McGull were actually 4-0 up by half-time after 2 for Till, and Conor Rankin getting in on the act with 2 for himself as well. And then in the second half, Till got his hat-trick. Nathan Moffat scores just before the hour, and then Nathan Peat with 5 minutes left on the clock, rounding off a rout for McGull, and that result pushes them back up to second in the league, hot on the tails of Droylsden in first, having got a game in hand on the team from East Manchester.
And seem to have learned a little bit of a lesson, Steeton, because on Tuesday night they were beaten by Nelson only by 2-1, so they've obviously shored up the defences a little bit there.
They did shore up the defences. I mean, it's difficult to shore up your defences against Nelson, who we know have some serious attacking talent on their books there. Although the table doesn't really show for it. They've only scored 12 this season, have Nelson, but their defence is airtight. Whereas Steeton have also scored 12, but they've conceded 19, although admittedly 7 of those were against McGull. So it would have been much tighter otherwise, but their drop in form compared to the start of the season has coincided with a big slip away in their positioning in the league. So they're now down to 12 out of 18 teams there. Despite Arlie Barnes scoring after 85 minutes, the damage was already done by a Luke Heppel double in the second half, one of which was from the spot. The decisive goal really is that Nelson train keeps on marching.
Do you want to go through some of the other results in Division 1 North while we're here?
Absolutely will.
We know Thornton Cleaveley's had a terrific victory on Saturday when they managed to beat Garstang 7-1.
Yeah, they did. Let me just get the results up, because at the minute we're infused with FA Vase action. So let me just scooch back a little bit. Yeah, so it was Saturday, the 18th. So Thornton Cleaveley's with the biggest win of the day, 7-1 against local rivals Garstang. So Jackson Bateman opened the scoring after 36 minutes, to be fair, but that sort of opened the floodgates. Daniel Stoney doubled the lead, and then they scored 4 goals within 17 second half minutes through Dom Ritchie, Jordan Moran, Jordan Beavers and Luke Harris.
It makes the victory even more surprising, really, considering that it took 36 minutes to score the first goal.
It does, really, and I wonder whether that's a question of Garstang's defence, unfortunately, just kind of crumbling under the onslaught, really. But that's an enormous win for Thornton Cleaveley's, boosts them up to 8th in the division with a game in hand on a couple of the teams above them, so they are asking questions of the playoffs at the minute. So moving on,
Other games of note, really.
Other games of note. So Bacup Borough were big winners at the what is it called now? I love the name of it, but I can't remember it. It's the Brian the Best Boys Brian West Stadium or something like that. I can't for the life of me remember what it's called.
Yeah.
God, it could be called the Brian Blessed Stadium.
The Westlife Stadium.
The Westlife.
The boys' Westlife. The boys' own Westlife Stadium.
Sure, why not? That
I don't know why it's not on there, to be honest with you. It should be somewhere, shouldn't it? Are they playing away? Or?
No, they're away.
Otherwise, so you can't even have a look at that.
No.
Never mind. Anyway,
they were at home on the results, and I've got. Hang on, give us a minute. I'll
just going on to Daisy Hill. Really, Daisy Hill managed to snatch a point. So off the back of a victory as well, they've done particularly well.
Who have?
Daisy Hill.
Daisy Hill. Where are they?
Third from bottom.
Third from bottom.
But they managed to get a victory anyway. They managed to get a victory followed up by a draw.
Yeah, they did. Although it was a last gasp draw. Connor Hughes, recent signing from Darwin, scoring a penalty in the 93rd minute of the game to secure a point after Main Road had gone 2-1 up just after the hour mark. But that point from Daisy Hill secures them their 7th point of the season. Still just 2 points in it between bottom and 4th from bottom, enveloping Cone, Daisy Hill and Ashton Athletic, all just above Garstang, but nonetheless a little bit of a booster for Nicky Hunt as he tries to navigate solo management at a club with demands and difficulties aplenty. In front of a healthy gate, actually, to be fair to them, there was 281 down in Daisy Hill to see
You'd
that.
You'd expect that on a Saturday afternoon, wouldn't you?
You might expect that on a Saturday afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah, given the interest in the football club at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Not as big as it seemed to be.
It has dropped off slightly, hasn't it? Yeah, but nonetheless, that's a good healthy turnout. Anyway, it was the Brian Boys Westview Stadium that was Bacups, and the East Lancashire club were in action there on Saturday afternoon, where they had a really good day out, beat MSB Woolton by 4-0. Oliver Hodgson opening the scoring and Conor Morris grabbing 2 late on in the game to send Bacup up to 6th in the table. Although they had a late start to the season because of amendments to their home ground, but they've now played 10 league games, so they come thick and fast for the Borough. They have won 5 of them, drawn 1 and lost 4. So good steady start for Bacup Borough there. Ashton Athletic played out a 2-2 draw on the Fylde coast against Squires Gate. Josh Nicholson opened the scoring after 2 minutes from the penalty spot, and Luke Crompton doubled that lead after 5 minutes to put Ashton Athletic firmly in command, and I thought that a bit of a romp might be on, but it didn't prove so. Dean Ing getting a comeback started for Squires Gate after half an hour, and then Saad Makawi Abuzaid scoring after 71 minutes to secure a share of the spoils for Squires Gate.
So the results are all over the place. We'll come to the Division 1 South in a minute, but with a lot of teams playing in the FA Vase, we'll only get a true sort of reflection of what's going on when they're all back in league action at this weekend. But we'll move on to Division 1 South, and there's no change at the top of the table.
No.
Runcorn are still there at the top, but they didn't play. They played in the FA Vase.
No, they did play. They played on Tuesday night.
I'm saying they played in the FA Vase on Saturday, but they played on Tuesday night.
That's right, yeah. They were held to a goalless draw by Ashville, who were sitting middle of the table, sort of about 9th place. So it's not a result that came immediately to mind for any of us who predicted the results last week. But Ashville,
a little bit of a dip in form, if anything.
Ashville were good value for their point there in front of 100 fans in Merseyside. So it's another point gain for Runcorn Town as they continue their jog up the table, sitting proudly at the top there. So if we look through the South fixtures from Saturday, there was only a handful there in place, but Hormond secured their second win of the season after securing their first last week. They won 3-2 against Wolverhampton Sporting Community. Cian Garbett scoring 2 there. Sandbach United, they continue their upward form. They're up to 7th now, a single goal from Ryan Goodwin, 8 minutes from time, giving them a 1-0 win over Barnton. There were also wins for Camel Laird over Alscott Heath and Eccleshall at Cheadle Heath Nomads. Folleymere, definitely the surprise package once again this season, but they secured a 1-1 draw against second place Stockport Georgians. Mark Grocott scoring with 10 minutes left on the clock to take a share of the spoils at the Trenton Food Stadium. And then Telford Town playing off against Market Drayton Town and Dan Dawson, who's been on the show, and they were made to work for it. A penalty from Alex Hughes 9 minutes from time, giving Telford 3 points as they consolidate third place ahead of Barnton, who lost at Sandbach. But on the Tuesday night, results came in from the First Division South, and Market Drayton Town, although unlucky against Telford, won big at home to Hormond. 5-2 victory over the second from bottom team, giving them a much needed 3 points to send them up to 16th in the table and give Dan a bit of a pressure reliever there. They did it in style as well. Sam Priest scoring 2, Daniel Holcroft scoring 2, Isaac Shaw getting the other one. All goals coming from open play as well, so another sort of impressive emphasis there on Market Drayton's football. There were also big wins for Alscott Heath over Wolverhampton Sporting Community, with Ryan Knott getting a hat-trick. And then Barnton won 5-0 away at Camel Laird, with braces each for Ryan Jackson and Gerald Jr. McCullion. And then lastly, Stafford Town beat Shawbury United by 6 goals to 2 to keep them on the tails of the frontrunners in the First Division South. They're now up to 5th.
Right, I'm looking at Wolverhampton Sporting Community as they sort of keep everybody
propped up,
don't they?
Yeah.
Looking pretty much similar to what we were last season at this stage. Conceded 52 goals, not scoring enough, a minus 40 goal difference.
Yeah.
We know they struggle to get a crowd there.
We really do, yeah. They are, unfortunately, they're not well backed. Wolverhampton Sporting Community, you know, they've got to share their immediate local area with Wolverhampton Casuals, and that's just within the First Division South. That doesn't take into account the Midland Division, who I'm sure they would be more associated with geographically speaking, but they are adrift at the bottom of the table at this time. Very worrying times for Sporting Community. They did only just receive a reprieve from relegation from the league last year. They're going to have to work very, very hard if they want to avoid something worse this time.
Certainly, 11 consecutive defeats is not good form at all. But listen, we'll come back to the Northwest Counties when we do our analysis later on. But listen, we'll just dip our toes into the National League. Southport appear to have turned the corner. They managed to go to Oxford City on Saturday and pull off a 2-1 draw, which was fabulous.
Pardon?
2-1. Sorry, they drew on Tuesday.
Yes.
Sorry, it was a 2-1 win at Oxford City.
There we go.
And then they managed to draw 1-1 on Tuesday night against Chorley. I think it was 1-1 anyway. So listen, I think the faith in Neil Dan seems to have been paying off, because
getting there,
sort of restoring the faith in a relatively young squad as well. They all seem to be positive at the moment, and I think the general consensus of opinion is that a lot of the teams that they've played have all said the same thing, that they're in a false position.
I think that was right, and I think that Jay sort of agreed with that notion when he was here last week. You're absolutely right. They secured a much needed victory at Oxford City, which was a result that I think we all predicted that they would. They
had a good chance of
Yeah, they did. They had a good chance of it, and they were due a good result. Yes, they beat Oxford City, who were 2 places above them in the league. It probably doesn't reflect accurately on Southport, but they were bottom of the league going into this fixture. So getting a result against Oxford City, who were 2 places above them in the division, that was handy enough, and a much needed reliever for Neil Dans and all associated with Hague Avenue. But then they followed that up by hosting Chorley, who have been high flyers in the division. I think they're sitting about 4th in the table right about now, well backed. Were in the playoffs last year as well, but they came from behind to draw 1-1 against the Lancashire-based outfit. Two games and 2 really, really positive results from Southport there. A good attendance at Hague Avenue on the Tuesday night as well. Just over 1,300 turning out to see Southport take a point there. So, I think we're... they're definitely on a bit more of a positive movement.
I think the supporters are getting right behind the new owners, and of course Neil Dans as well. There's a lot of faith in it, and listen, we'll see that continue. I think they'll start to rise up the table now after a really sort of poor start. But moving on to Marine, they had a good 2-1 win at Worksop, so well done to them.
Hugely. I think Marine were another team that needed a good result there. They last Saturday they played Curzon Ashton and were beaten quite heavily.
A lot of questions were asked after that.
Yeah, they were. And so they needed a positive result against Worksop. They got it. A very decent 2-1 win at Worksop themselves. So that moves Marine up to 12th in the table, and in the process overtaking Worksop in that division. Positive result for Bobby Grant and his team there.
Yeah, well done to our landlords. Moving on to the Premier Division of the Northern Premier League, Lancaster lead the table with FC United in second place. Prescott Cables are hovering around mid-table, not being as consistent as they'd like to be, but a very sort of interesting table there, not taking a great deal of notice in the results, other than we know that FC United have been doing rather well. Of course, we know our ex-manager now is the chief scout over at FC United as well, so hopefully bringing better quality players in to help them in their cause for promotion.
I think so, and he may be doing wonders already. FC United of Manchester only a point behind Lancaster City, although having played a game less than the table toppers, so every possibility that they could usurp Lancaster in a few weeks' time. Ashton United, who we've known to talk about and discuss, we obviously had their vice chair on the show during our very early stages. They're sitting in 8th in the table, and then Prescott Cables, in that they are former landlords at one point. Prescott.
Yeah, for a short period of time.
So they are sitting in 12th in the table as well. A bit around the Ashton United, Cleethorpes, Whitby, teams like that. They lost at home to Stocksbridge Park Steels on Saturday by 2-1. Although a week and a half ago they did beat Lancaster City by 2-0 at home, and sandwiched in between those two results was a 1-1 draw against Cleethorpes. So a bit of a mixed bag of results for the Cables. Recently, I would have thought that they would have wanted a much better result against a Stocksbridge Park Steels team who are sitting 16th in the table, a full 6 points and 4 places behind them at the time. So some inconsistencies there from Cables. They are the draw specialists at the minute, having taken 8 draws from 14 games.
Moving on to Division 1 West, Atherton Colls are still doing the business with a 4-2 win at the weekend over Congleton and a 2-1 win at Chasetown on Tuesday night, who were incidentally the early pacemakers at one stage, which goes to prove that Michael Clegg's sort of harsh words after their FA Cup defeat at LR has been listened to. It seems to have done the trick, and they've moved up into second place.
Yeah, they have. So we've talked about that game against Laburnum Rovers sort of quite a lot recently. But then, sort of following on from that, they beat Silsden. They beat Stafford Rangers. They drew with Bamber Bridge in the cup game. They beat Trafford, drew with Shivnall, beat Nantwich. Lost to Whitton Albion, which is, no shame. Beat Buchel, beat Congleton, and beat Chasetown. So that's 2 single domestic victories since the 30th of August, and we're now in the tail end of October. So Clegg really does seem to have his boys on an upward curve, and I think with particular attention being played to discipline there as Colliery's shot up the table there. Although they've been helped by inconsistent results from Bury, Staley Celtic and Avro, that doesn't take the gloss off their performances of late. They're now a point behind table toppers Lower Breck. So right in the thick of it is Cleggy and his team.
Well, listen, we'll move slightly further ahead than we should have done there. But Lower Breck, as you just mentioned there, they won at Wythenshawe Town. Bury couldn't win at Mossley, meaning they slumped to third, while Lower Breck lead the way again at the top of the league.
Yeah, they did. It was interesting for Bury. Interesting is one word, but unfortunate is probably the other. They beat Wythenshawe Town by 5 goals to 2 almost 2 weeks ago now. But since then they've had some unfortunate reverses against Sporting Khalsa and against Mossley. Now I'm led to believe the game against Sporting Khalsa, they went behind very early on and then spent the majority of the time laying absolute siege to the Khalsa goal, only to find Khalsa's goalkeeper in frankly inspired form to keep them out, and then a goal from Khalsa sealing the points right at the end of the game.
Did you see the video at the end of the game?
I didn't see the video at the end of the game. Hang on, the worm.
Was it the worm?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Was it the manager or the coach did the worm at the end of the game?
He did. He came onto the pitch and started doing the worm. And do you know what? I think if I was Sporting Khalsa and I'd beaten Bury by 2 goals to 0, I'd have probably done the worm as well. But
I'd have probably been an A&E if I'd attempted that myself. But listen, talking about Dave McNabb, not throwing his players under the bus so much, but what he did say after the Bury loss is that you have to remember what shirt you're wearing when you cross that white line, or words to that effect. So it's a little bit disappointed that they've not sort of given their all.
Yeah, it's unusual. This is what the supporters are expecting from Bury, though, isn't it? I don't think anybody in Bury's is expecting them to win the league there. I know that they've got an ambition to get back to where they belong, which is the Football League, but they know full well that it's not going to happen on a whim. I think
the supporters will be expecting them to win that league.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I think the pressure's on to win that league, most definitely. And, if you can't win it, you get it through the playoffs.
Well, they're still in there. They're still in the playoffs. I mean, they've lost their last 2 games, but every team has this blip. I mean, we've talked about blips and gifts and spurts last week on the show. But Bury, maybe they're having theirs now. All they've done is lost 2 games, and they're still 3 points behind Lower Breck in top position. So it's not as though they're completely down and out of it, not by any stretch of the imagination. So I think we'll see Bury getting back on top sooner rather than later. But Lower Breck beating Wythenshawe Town by 2 goals to 0 there. Which stretches their unbeaten run to 5 games in the domestic league since a 3-0 loss to Staley Celtic in the middle of September. They've got games coming up at home to Congleton Town and Sporting Khalsa to come.
I think everybody's in awe of the team that at Lower Breck at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I think where the expectation was that Bury would come in and do the business here. Certainly from what you've alluded to there, I don't think anybody talked about Lower Breck in this form at all. I think it's easy to forget just how close Lower Breck pushed Bury in winning in them winning this the Northwest Counties Prem last season.
I've not watched them this season, but I watched them against Burscough at Burscough's place last season, and they looked good value for money then.
Lower Breck.
Yeah, they looked outstanding. Very exciting to watch.
Really,
I'd love to get down and watch them again sometime during this season. No doubt I will do.
When we're not playing, that sounds like a good Saturday.
Just going back to Dave McNabb, that he seems to think that he was slightly to blame for the wrong choice in personnel, the team that he picked against Mossley. So it balanced itself really. Even though he felt as though his players didn't do enough, he felt as though his selection was poor as well, or wrong.
It takes a big manager to acknowledge that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a balanced argument anyway. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
he's not throwing anybody under the bus. He said it's not a good enough performance, but then I didn't get it right myself, which is a good balance for the manager.
It happens, doesn't it? I mean, you're not going to get everything right straight away. I think there are a few Bury fans who are asking for Tyler James to be recalled from Padiham already after 2 games. So I don't think there's any cause for alarm for Bury, and I don't think there's any reason to get on the back of Dave McNabb at this point in time, just because he's made an error.
Yeah, so listen, we go to Clitheroe because we don't, we've not mentioned them as often as we normally do this season, but Clitheroe, mixed bag for them. Good 3-1 win over Darlaston at the weekend, but defeat to Nantwich in midweek.
Yeah, defeat at Nantwich.
Sean McConville must be pulling his hair out.
I think he is to a degree. So
it's inconsistent, isn't it?
Yeah. They beat Darlaston by 3-1. That was that was a stylish victory over them. But that's been sort of sandwiched in the middle of defeats to Nantwich, Staley Celtic, Vauxhall Motors, and Avro, which it's not made things perilous for Clitheroe. They're 14th in the table, and they're a clear 6 points ahead of Wythenshawe Town in 19th, which is the first relegation spot on the table from top to bottom. I think he's got a really talented squad there, and I know that they were without Josh Briggs yesterday, their new signing from FC St Helens, but they still had some quality players in there, and it looked like that they were going to take a draw out of their game against Nantwich, and 3-2 against Nantwich isn't. That there's nothing to be ashamed of by any stretch of the imagination as well. It's just one of those things, unfortunately. So as for Clitheroe, as for Sean kind of tearing his hair out, maybe he is. I think given how talented his team are in attack, he'd certainly want more from from the defence to kind of complement that. Really, but these kind of things happen, particularly for Clitheroe, and it's easy to forget that Sean's only been in charge for around about a year now. He's still, I wouldn't say he's still finding his feet in football, but he's always learning, isn't he? And he's got a couple of really good opportunities to kind of build back some kind of lost gains here. He's got Stockton Town at home this Saturday, and that's then followed up by a midweek game at home to Sporting Khalsa. And I would hope that they kind of take maximum points from that, or at the very least just kind of show some serious positive signs there.
I mean, it looked as though they were building up a head of steam at the end of last season. I just expected them to be sort of up in them playoff positions
I think
at this point.
Yeah, I think we did start to kind of look at that one. And they'd made a really good start to the season, hadn't they? I think they were about 7th. No, they weren't. They were about 3rd after some really kind of positive games against Shivnal, Trafford, Mossley, Collieries, and Avro that had kind of propelled them right the way up the league. But
if we go back to last season, the sporting director, Carl Garn, I think he was the sporting director, he came on YouTube and said that they're in desperate need of money. I wonder whether that's still the situation. I know they've got a new owner there.
They've got a new owner. They've also got a new sponsor sponsoring their stadium as well. So they have made some moves to secure the finances in there as well. They are a well-supported club as well. I think is it about 500, 600 that they get over a weekend? Or
it was a bit more than that at one stage, wasn't it? They were nearing the 1,000 spectator mark.
God, that's pretty good.
You'd have to have a look on the. You'd have to have a look on the attendance table to see whether that's changed.
Yeah. I don't think Sean's going to be worried yet. I think he may be concerned at most, but I think he'll just want his team to improve. They've got the players to do it. We've seen the likes of Leon Creech, Veron Parney, absolutely class players on their day. I think he just wants them to come together and play just a little bit better.
But listen, best of luck to all the teams in the National League and the Northern Premier League,
most certainly,
particularly in our area over the next weekend or so. Listen, let's go to controversial corner. Ref stops the game for 10 minutes and demands Staveley chairman expel a spectator for calling linesman a knobhead.
Wow. Okay.
So, I mean, I've never heard of a referee being told to tell a chairman to get rid of somebody from a stadium. It begs the question: it wouldn't happen at Anfield, would it? You wouldn't hear it for starters.
Well, I don't know how on earth you could enforce that, to be quite honest, at Anfield. Anyway, sort of 40,000, 50,000 spectators, and you're trying to if you'd tried to get every fan expelled who called you a knobhead, you'd have nobody left in the ground. Everybody's got a bone to pick with a referee or a linesman, regardless of what kind of decision they make. It's
normally the other way around, though, isn't it? It's normally the spectators are calling the chairman a knobhead. Naming no names here, but
it can be like that, yeah. It's quite difficult, really. I'm just trying to.
Well, I go back to me times in Goodison when I was a season ticket holder there, and the language and the levelled at assistants and officials, players alike, were really, really bad. But often the even the police would overlook it. They just keep looking at them and they wouldn't say anything to them. The stewards were pretty much the same. I think it's become expected at the higher echelons of football to overlook it, because, like you say, you'd have a full-time job of. It's much easier to do it at at Staveley than it is going to be at Old Trafford or Anfield, for instance. So yeah, you can imagine it. I think what happens is, if you're a spectator now at a non-league football game and you make a show of yourself, you can make a show of yourself quite spectacularly, really, because everybody can hear what you're saying.
Yeah, they can, and I think that's probably why he's done it, really, because he's able to hear it. He's able to, sort of see what kind of influence that can have, not only on the rest of the fans, but also on the linesman's performance as well. They're still human at the end of the day, and stuff like this can seriously affect their performance. Not every match day official has a thick skin.
So if you change your language and you say you're rubbish, you liner, you're rubbish, and you continually do it in an aggressive manner, that's okay. But the minute you use the word knobhead, that's what I think myself personally. I think it's the use of the word rather than the...
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I mean, the chairman of Staveley Miners Welfare challenged the referee's decision, arguing that such language is commonplace in football and shouldn't warrant stopping the game. And I think that's probably right, to be fair. It is commonplace in football. I mean, we hear it all the time. God, from players as well.
I think if it gets to the point where you're expecting violence to erupt, then that's a different...
Yeah. Now, officials aren't there to be insulted. I get that. But I wonder what would happen if they turn it around. What if the linesman called the fan a knobhead? Go absolutely nuts.
What's happened
they?
before? I've been called worse
By a linesman?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think I was told off when we were playing Runcorn Town in the pre-season friendly.
Really?
You were there standing there. I'm sure you were there.
I wasn't at Runcorn.
Oh, you weren't there, no?
No.
He was alongside me. Yeah, he told me to shut the up. And to be honest with you, I had a point.
I don't know.
But I was extremely upset because I think we were losing 7-0 at the time, and I questioned a decision that he made, and then nobody backed me up because they all seen it. I said the ball was still in, and most people clearly thought it was out, including our own manager at the time. So yeah, I probably got that one wrong, but yeah, I probably deserve to get told it.
It maybe.
Listen, I had to apologise to Alan. I didn't realise because they wear a special band, don't they?
If they're under 18, yes.
Is it a yellow band? Is it?
It is, yeah.
Yellow band. And I was a little bit vocal towards a linesman when we played. I think it was FC.
No, it was Nalgo.
FC Nalgo, yeah.
No, it was Liverpool Nalgo. Yeah, I remember the incident because I was in perfect call with it, and their defence had shouted for offside, even though Ollie Wright was clearly onside at that point, and the linesman put his flag up straight away, and you were incensed. And I can
he got it wrong.
He did get it.
He
wrong.
admitted it. He got it wrong in the end. I apologised to him though because I didn't realise he was under 18, and that kind of reaction. Well, put him off for life anyway.
It could put him off for life, yeah. I think he was quite magnanimous about it at the end, you know. I think he accepted your apology or anything.
Well, he didn't report me, did he? So that was good.
Well, good. But yeah, the sort of the bounce back from social media says that most of them agree with the referee. They're putting that predicament in. Imagine if the tables were turned and the linesman called the fan a knobhead. Another sort of question is that an observation is that the FA has run the respect campaign for years and are very strict on abuse of officials. And if an official asks for a spectator to be removed, then the chairman should just simply remove that spectator. Other people are saying it's very over the top if it's an isolated comment.
It's the word more than the language, then, is it? Because if you replace it with a nicer word, if we use a worse word like, I don't know,
the C word
begins with T and ends in T, or begins in C and ends in T. If you use that kind of language, it does sound awful.
Yes, it does.
I don't think knobhead sounds as bad, do you?
I think the context is everything, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't think
it's just such a free-flying word. I mean, I don't think we put any thought into it, when we're using it, and.
I think if the aggression behind the word is used in a manner where it feels as though it's quite intimidating, then it's just as bad as any of the other words that we've just mentioned.
Yeah, I think there does have to be a certain thick skin by officials that they're just going to have to endure this because it's an impossible thing to try and police. Talking
about thick skins, though, let's get to the main conversation, and that is it all kicked off at Avro. The lead in 6-0 against Kidsgrove around about the 83rd minute.
Yep.
Kidsgrove's player manager, like him or loathe him, Tom Pope, became the visitors' third sending off of the afternoon on the Sandlides when he was handed his marching orders at this what was all believed to be a very testy affair. But things escalated further off the pitch when Tom was taking his walk, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's correct. So the Avro fans behind the goal, made their feelings known to Tom and started to kind of wind him up a little bit. And some of the Kidsgrove players in and around that vicinity were vocally defending him. One of the players then jumps over the fence.
The fence,
Sure.
the bar.
Into the stands and starts remonstrating with one particular supporter, and this then ends in a scuffle between this player, this supporter, and then multiple spectators in and around that area, including some children who were sort of in nearby, and I think got caught up in that outburst as well. What's then happened is the Kidsgrove goalkeeper has retaliated in the scuffle and has punched a supporter, and then that's kind of spilled over into a full-on confrontation, which has generated police involvement as well. So both teams are now being investigated, as well as supporters.
I don't know what disturbed me most. The fact that Avro got a bit of a history for sort of unsociable behaviour.
Right.
So I've been told, allegedly.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether I was more surprised by what was going on there, or the fact that there was so many angles of this confrontation videoed.
Yeah,
People just standing by and videoing it.
Yeah, I've seen two.
I think I've seen 3 different angles.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah. Right. Yeah, it's just we've talked about.
Who stoked it up, by the way? Do we know whether it's Tom Pope and he's been going on? We're speculating it anyway.
I think we can only speculate at this point, really, because we're not sort of in an investigation in any way, shape, or form. All we can just do is interpret what we've seen in the footage. From what it looks like, and also from what social media appears to be saying, the particular Avro fan who was involved in the ruckus, or in the main body of the ruckus, had been saying things for a while, and I think it may have just boiled over. I'm not sure what he said to Tom Pope or indeed any of the players. It's too noisy to kind of hear clearly what they were saying. But
surprisingly, Tom Pope was quiet on social media.
Was he?
Until yesterday, when he decided to retaliate a little bit.
Okay. Have you got any?
I'm just looking to see. He just this sporting nest. I've made some
nice
comments about it, and then Tom Pope said, "Just when I thought you couldn't get any sadder, and that's your SHIT flag collection, not your absolutely horrendous, boring poem that couldn't even make a hyena smile. What a very strange man you are."
What a classy guy.
Intrigued, but yeah, he's not the last in coming forward, is he?
No, he's not. No. But anyway,
been quite controversial in the past. But listen, we need to get Tom Pope on this show to find out what he is made of, because he's upset a lot of people, hasn't he?
Yeah, he is. Anyway, there's been a statement from Greater Manchester Police who said that they are aware of an incident at a football match in the Oldham area, and they're currently investigating the circumstances. No arrest have been made. So that's what they said so far. Both teams, Avro FC and Kidsgrove Athletic, have both taken to social media to condemn the actions of the fans, and say that they are appalled at the game being ruined for all sets of fans there. But they won't be making any further comments in the matter, that they'll cooperate with any investigation.
And the Speaking Frankly football show condemns all kinds of violence.
Yes, we do.
Well.
Yes, we do.
I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I say put your handbags away, grow up, act like proper men. Real men don't need to fight.
No, they don't. And the fact that it was done in front of women and children as well is all the more disturbing as well. Grow
up. There's no excuse for retaliation either. You walk away from it.
Seriously.
Unless you're in a position where you have to defend yourself.
And that's
whatever's happened to whatever's happened to the goalkeeper, he doesn't look in distress.
No, he doesn't.
Just should have been. Somebody should have pulled him away from the situation.
Yeah.
And order would have been restored.
But I think listen, so. He was still on the pitch at the time. He'd not entered the stands at all.
We'll hear more about this over the next couple of weeks, I would imagine. Listen, I wanted to sort of round off this sort of ill feeling amongst supporters and managers and such like. Robbie Savage, he was on the other end of abuse at Carlisle, said he crossed the line.
Yeah.
And like I said, this links up well with what we've just discussed. I don't know the exact kind of language that was used against him. He says that he's happy, more than happy, to enter into banter, but there's banter that doesn't. It crosses the line, and
Yes.
that's. I don't know whether it was family related, whether they were talking about his wife or his children. I don't know what went on. I don't think he's clearly told anyone yet.
Not particularly, no. So he said that I think evidently there is a bit of personal abuse that was thrown in there. You know, he's a guy who's evidently been in around that kind of footballing banter for a long time, and he understands it and he engages with it, all of that, and that's absolutely fine. He says he doesn't mind banter, and he's prepared to stand there and get abuse hurled at him by people of varying ages, but he thinks that it's not acceptable for them to come and hurl vile abuse at a human being, but he believes that nothing will be done about it. It happens all the time. It happened the other night at Worthing, and it's happened again today. I don't think it's acceptable, but nothing's going to be done. Nothing's ever done.
Do you think this is off the back of a defeat?
So Forest Green.
Well, it is off the back of a defeat. But what I'm saying is, does he highlight this if he's won? I don't think he does.
No, I'd still think he would if he'd won.
I don't think he does.
But would it happen if he won?
Yeah, well, he puts up with that bet, like he says, throughout the game. For 90 plus minutes, he's under barrage of banter and abuse throughout the game. I mean, listen, on the flip side of that, he spends a lot of time with supporters taking selfies and signing things at the end of the game.
Yeah.
But I do think he stokes up a fair bit of trouble himself. Just,
do you think?
You know, in terms of the character he is. Obviously, he's not going to turn around and say, he's not going to be derogatory about, you know, any of the supporters' family members, because he won't know them as well as supporters would know if they go on social media or on the internet to find out.
Well, this is true, yeah. And it was actually abuse from Carlisle fans, so it wasn't his own fans, which is, you know, that's part and parcel of the game. But he believes that he's expected to take the abuse because it's him, it's Robbie Savage, but it's not acceptable. So I think, yeah, there is absolutely a line that's going to be crossed there. You know, we've seen and heard about enough from you know, banterous abuse from fans. I remember Ben Barnes being a very enthusiastic proponent of being abused gently, but he'll tell you the same way that Robert is saying, is that there is a line that can be crossed.
But that shouldn't be crossed.
No, and it should never be crossed.
No,
it should never be crossed.
On a more humorous note,
the
what would you call them? The social media operator for X for Billingham Town. He's puts quite the odd humorous post on the Twitter, which begs the question: is there a line that we should cross as in terms of professionalism? Should we be entering into humorous banter on our X pages or not?
Oh, I think to a point, yes. So the Billingham Town social media admin, I think it's really entertaining because he does post some really good GIFs in there about just in response to banter. To be quite honest, and some of it is actually really funny. So he's let me just see.
He does claim to have had a few when he's done it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Or he gives the impression that he might have done, and then he does say, "Listen, I've had to take that back off because I just had a phone call off the chairman."
Yeah, something like that.
And I don't believe that's true. I think that's part of his banter.
I think that is part of his banter. Yeah. So one of them was last night when Billingham Town were losing to Sunderland West End, and Billingham have posted more chance of Jesus coming back than us tonight. And anyway, Billingham Town did actually come back and made it 2-2. And he's posted a picture of Jesus pointing two fingers out with a massive grin on his face.
Ooh, that'll upset the Christians.
Yeah, exactly. And ironically enough, I think Billingham Town ended up winning that game by 4 goals to 3.
Divine intervention.
Divine intervention. But I think there was another one as well from the from the FA Vase as well, because they played. See, Brigtown that they played as well. So yeah, he noted. And I don't know how or why, but he noted that the attendance was 12 people in their game against Brigtown. And then not too long later, he posted the follow-up saying, somebody from Brig has grassed us up and sent a video of the crowd to the FA. Official revised attendance is 182.
So this was in the FA Vase.
This was the FA Vase.
Of course, where I think all the dividends are stretched out between 3. So it'll be between the FA.
Yeah.
I don't know, what is it? Both? Well, it's half-half, isn't it? I think half goes to the away team, half goes to the home team after expenses.
Yeah.
So yeah, the likelihood that they've been trying to fiddle the gate, claim there's only 12 when it's clearly far more.
This is it. So the first message was, Billingham Town would like to thank both sets of supporters for their attendance here. Due to competition rules, season tickets were not valid and gate receipts are split. We're therefore proud to report an official attendance of 12. So they're scurrying away a load of money.
I actually like that way.
Yeah, and then they're saying somebody from Brigtown has grassed us up, so it's now 182. Yeah. That's magnificent. I think there has to be a bit of lightheartedness on social media.
With that. I don't know who he is.
I think we know that there's got to be a certain level of professionalism, but my God, you need to have a laugh. You know, where nobody here is doing this as a full-time job, and I know for a fact that our social media operator Ben does like to have a bit of a laugh and a bit of a giggle with some of the things that he puts out on our social media pages as well, and it's all very light-hearted. So there's nothing wrong with this at all. I think it's great. Yeah,
listen, good on the social media admin at Billingham Town. That was a bit of a refreshing end to what was a very controversial and nasty weekend in many ways. But listen, we move on to the predictions and expert analysis soon. But before that, we'll just hit on Skelmersdale United Football Club. We managed to win back-to-back games.
We have!
So, go on.
So for the first time since I've been involved with Skelmersdale United Football Club, and that's all of 15 months, so it's really not very long.
First in 3 seasons.
God, really?
Yeah. Even when, I don't think we had back-to-back wins when Pascal Chimbonda was in charge either.
Yikes. It's been a bit of a minute then. Okay, so anyway, 2 Saturdays ago, as we reported on last week's show, we won in the cup competition against FC Kirkby, beating them on penalties after Kirby. After a 2-2 draw. We then followed that up with a face-off against Granby Toxteth Athletic at the Marine Travel Arena this Saturday. And we won! We won by 3 goals to 2 in front of a capacity crowd of 62 over in Crosby. We went...
Listen, shame on those that didn't turn up, because it was a very entertaining game from both perspectives.
It was brilliant.
Two of the fittest teams in the league, without a shadow of doubt.
I think you're probably right. Yeah, it was high octane from start to finish, and both teams had chances even in the dying embers of the game, when normally at this level you would expect things to slow down quite substantially. The Granby Toxteth Athletic took the lead after about 20 minutes of play or something like that. It was a clever lob in behind the defence, and then another clever lob over Bobchek in goal that gave...
Poor defending to a degree.
And
we were the better team up to that point,
we most certainly were, yeah. So... We'd had chances through Michael Ledbetter, Cam O'Neill, Alex Davies. They'd all had attempts kind of so nearly or cleared off the line, something like that. So I think there was a bit of an inevitability about us making a breakthrough. And it came just prior to half-time, Michael Ledbetter getting us the equaliser. But Granby at Toxteth came back and immediately scored a second just before half-time, which meant we went into the break 2-1 down. The boys weren't deterred. Nobody hit the panic button. We just kept on playing our own style of play, and Rhys Carrington's corner was bundled into the back of his own net by an unfortunate Granby defender for an own goal, and that seemed to ignite the spark back.
There has to be said the quality of his passes, crosses and corners was exceptional on the day.
It was,
well.
yeah. Rhys played on the left side of midfield for us, and his ball control and he's getting crosses into the box for Michael and other attackers was absolutely terrific.
He was outstanding.
I think he was. Yeah, I mean, we don't really do man of the matches at this level, but I think if we did, he would probably be it.
Yeah, certainly close to it.
But
and
that
of
was
course, Darren Askew for
Yeah.
me. We just edged that man of the match.
Yeah, I think, fair enough.
He was the engine room in that midfield.
He really was, yeah. Him partnered by Alex Davis. They were a two that we were very grateful to have at that point. They calmed things. They were very experienced there. They slowed the game down when they needed to. They picked the right passes. They tackled absolutely everything. It was absolutely brilliant to have them back.
And the change was good. Ellis Davern and Toby Taylor were introduced, and almost immediately, Davern delivers a cross into the box, and Fox in the box himself, Toby Taylor, slots it away with
yeah, he does.
ease.
Yeah. I mean, we do have to give a bit of credit to Sam Wood, who'd run from right back to left midfield. It's a heck of an overlap on Ellis, but Ellis's cross actually went to Sam at the back post, and it was a brilliant turn to find himself a bit of space in the box. He puts it back across the face of goal, and there is Toby to put us 3-2 ahead with about 15 minutes to go. We did have to withstand a little bit of pressure, but equally we could have scored more goals ourselves.
We could have scored 8 on the day. I'm not saying they couldn't have scored more. They could have scored 4 or 5 themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did the job in the end, and we seen it.
We did, yeah.
Over the
So
line.
we secured our first 3 points of the domestic campaign, a first win for Andy Barlow, a first home win for the team in our new kit as well. That was debuted on Saturday.
24 hours after we'd officially announced that Tord Valley Developments are our new front of shirt sponsors. For those that don't know, Tord Valley Developments is a community-focused property development company building affordable homes to buy and to rent. As the company is wholly owned by West Lancashire Borough Council, any profit that the company makes is reinvested into the services which benefit the local communities of West Lancashire. It's a good collaboration for us because they're also going to attempt to get us back to Skem as well. So really fabulous 10 days or so, 10 days of business from Skem United Football Club. We talked about it. We had the successful race night. We had the cup win. We had the meet the club. We had the sponsor reveal, and then we had the second win as well.
We did.
So it's been a fabulous 5-pointer in terms of the highlights of the last week or so.
Yeah, and I think we're due an extended episode of positivity here. It was too few and far between last year, and I think we are now starting to see some really good results on the pitch as well. I think Andy remarked that we're never a million miles away from turning in a really decent performance into a really good result as well, and we hope to continue that on Saturday when we host the Grenadier team.
7 consecutive victories.
Team at the top of the table, but we go into that game on the back of 2 straight wins. I think we're in good confidence there. So,
unless we're not getting ahead of ourselves, there's a lot of work to be done yet. We recognise that, but we just feel as though things are pointed in the right direction for a change.
We are. We are now off the bottom of the table as well, and I think we're sort of in the thick of it at the lower end. But I've no doubt that we won't stay there, and we'll continue to move up and up and up. So if you are available on Saturday to come down and watch the boys, we're playing the Marine Travel Arena, 3:00 kick-off, £5 entry for adults, £3 for concessions.
Certainly there'll be a little bit more interest now that because we won back-to-back games. So it'll be great to see you, old and new.
Very much so. Yeah.
So listen, we'll move on to the predictions and we'll try and race through this as quick as we can. Tonight, when we record, of course, we're obviously recording in the afternoon, but Wednesday evening tonight, Garstang versus Ashton Town.
Yep. I think we predicted that was included in last week's, wasn't it? So I predicted an away win there for Ashton Town.
All right, we're looking at we're looking at tonight. Yeah. Did we predict it last weekend? Okay, we'll forget that then. We'll move on to Saturday, the 25th of October, and the Premier Division, Barnoldswick Town versus Pilkington.
So, yeah, two teams kind of within the thick of it there, but I'm going to say a draw.
I'm going Barnoldswick, Cheddarton versus AFC Liverpool. I feel as though AFC Liverpool coming back into a little bit of form. I think they're feeling a little bit more positive there, but I think Cheddarton might be just a bit too strong for them.
So do I, yeah, so I'm going to go home win too.
City of Liverpool versus FC Alaman. City of Liverpool seem to be
on a bit of a curve, aren't they?
Yeah, a bit of a rebirth, and but so are FC Alaman.
Yes, FC Alaman starting to make some moves in some good places, but I think City of Liverpool's progress has been far more steep in their positive trajectory. They're up to 18th after the weekend's results, and I see them sort of continuing to move up. So home win for me.
Right, I'm going for a draw. Exton Villa versus Cheadle. I'm going for Cheadle.
I'm going for Exton.
FC St Helens versus Stockport Town. I think it's going to be a tough game. I'm going for a draw.
Yeah. Exton, I'm going to change to a draw. FC St Helens
Exton,
versus...
you going for a draw, right?
Yeah. I'm going to go with FC St Helens on this one, purely from the manner in which they beat Wythenshawe in the middle of the week. They won by 4 goals to 1, so...
Yeah, okay. Glossop North End versus Charnock Richard. I felt as though Glossop were going to win this before they sacked Richard Brodie. I still think Glossop North End will win that one.
I'm going to say a draw because we can never really write Charnock Richard off either which way or.
No. Remy versus Wythenshawe. It's got to be Wythenshawe.
It is. I think Jamie Rainford is making moves
he's getting closer.
Yeah, he's getting in the right direction. I think this game comes a little bit too early for them there.
Yeah. Longridge Earlham. I'm going for Earlham.
I'll go for Earlham as well.
Padiham versus Prestwich Hayes. An interesting one, really, because Prestwich Hayes, they've been doing okay.
Prestwich Hayes have been doing okay, and they've been doing reasonably okay for a while. But just Padiham are just on a different level at this point.
Yeah, Ramsbottom versus Abbey Hay.
Rammy for me.
Yeah, I got to go for Ramsbottom as well. South Liverpool versus Atherton LR. Atherton LR have had a little bit of a sort of topsy-turvy bit of form, but I still think Atherton LR would be too good for them.
Yeah, I think Atherton LR have had a bit of a drop-off, but they didn't play this weekend, so that may have given them a bit of a reliever that they needed. They're right in the thick of it against South Liverpool, though, so I do expect a draw from this team. All right.
West Didsbury and Chorlton versus Burscough. I'm going for Burscough.
Clash of the heavyweights there.
Yeah. Be nice.
Fine.
Be nice, or I'll send Jay round.
I'm going to say Burscough, but I think it'll be about 1-0. I think it'll be quite a tight game.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. So moving on to First Division North, AFC Blackpool versus MSB Walton. I'm going for MSB Walton.
I'm going to go for AFC Blackpool on this one.
Yeah, there's not much between them in terms of
points.
13th and 14th. So AFC Blackpool 13th, 14th MSB Walton, both on 10 points. AFC Blackpool have got a better goal difference. Yeah, listen, I feel as though AFC Blackpool are going to start pulling away from...
I think so. They've only played 7 games as well, and they still managed more wins.
You know what, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to go for a draw.
Alrighty.
Ashton Athletic versus Cone. Listen, could be a close one, that, but I'm going for Cone. Darwin versus Garstang. I'm going for Darwin. Droylsden versus Steeton. Droylsden, yeah. Fulwood Amateurs versus Squires Gate.
Fulwood Amateurs,
I think. Draw.
Holker Old Boys versus Main Road. I'm going to say Holker, although we do await whether that fixture will get played in light of the FA.
Isn't it going to be played on the 1st of November, the replay?
Will it?
so I believe I might be wrong.
I don't know.
But
God,
listen.
I'm not that in tune.
McGull versus Bake Up Borough.
Yeah, that's McGull for me.
Well, I don't know, Bake Up Borough. I'll go. You know what? I'm going to go for Bake Up Borough.
They're a bit of an inconsistent team of Bake Up Borough, aren't they?
Nelson Ashton Town.
That's Nelson.
Got to be Nelson. Thornton Cleveley's.
Daisy Arena, Little Wembley.
Yeah, that's it. Thornton Cleveley's versus Daisy Hill. Wow. Thornton Cleveley's for me.
Yeah, Thornton Cleveley's for me, although...
But I think Daisy Hill could pull off a shot there as well. First Division South, Asheville versus Alsager.
Draw for me.
You're going for a draw, I'll go for a draw as well. Barnton versus Telford Town, I'm going for Telford.
I'll go for a draw there.
Hormond versus Foley Mere, Foley Mere for me.
Foley Mere too.
New Mills versus Shawbury United, I'm going for Shawbury United.
I'm going for New Mills.
Runcorn Town versus Wolverhampton Casuals, I'm going for Runcorn. Sandbach versus Cheadle Nomads, I'm going for Sandbach.
I'm going for Sandbach as well.
Stafford Town versus Camelaird, Stafford Town. Stockport Georgians versus Market Drayton. Hate to say it, but I think Stockport Georgians will win that one.
Why'd you do this to me, Dan?
We want you to win, but we think...
But actually, Stockport Georgians did have a bit of a drop-off against Foley Mere, whereas Market Drayton did come off the back of that 1-0 win against Hormond. So, by scale of unpredictability, I'm going to say a draw, and I wish Dan Dawson an awful lot of luck there in SK4.
Right. Wolverhampton Sporting Community versus Eccleshall. It's got to be Eccleshall.
It is got to be Eccleshall.
I can't see Wolves doing any good there. So we move to Monday, the 27th of October, the Edward Chase Cup first round, Daisy Hill versus Ashton Athletic. I think Daisy Hill will win that.
I think Daisy Hill will win that too.
The Edward Chase first round on the Tuesday, Ashton Town.
Isn't it Edward Case?
Well, it could be. Why do I always say Chase? I thought it was the Edward Chase Cup.
Such a grammar
balls to it. Listen, Edward. I've been saying that for 2 years now. Nobody's pulled me up on it. Oh well, who cares? Anyway, listen. In the Edward Chase, Scott said it wrong again. It should be the Edward Chase Cup. Listen, the sponsors will be going absolutely berserk. So the Edward Chase Cup first round, Tuesday night, Ashton Town versus Fulwood Amateurs. I'm going for Fulwood Amateurs.
I'm going to say Ashton Town on that one.
Droylsden versus AFC Blackpool. AFC Blackpool.
Droylsden.
Squiresgate versus McGull. I'm going for Squiresgate.
McGull. You're just doing this just to mess with me.
Yes, and listen, I'm going to get this right.
Fine.
The first round, South in the Edward Case Cup. Alsager versus Sandbach. I'm going for Sandbach. New Mills versus Cheadle Heath Nomads. Cheadle Heath. Wolves Sporting Community versus Barnes. Got to be Barnes. And Foley Mere versus Stockport Georgians. Stockport Georgians for that one.
I will say Stockport Georgians just because it's you have to win.
Yeah. Stafford Town versus Market Drayton Town. Stafford Town.
It is going to be Stafford Town for me, although we do wish Dan Dawson the very best of luck in that one.
Yeah. And the derby in the Premier League on Tuesday is AFC Liverpool versus South Liverpool. This could go any way.
The real Liverpool derby.
Yeah, I'm going for AFC Liverpool.
I'm going for South Liverpool.
Right. Chadderton versus Burscough. I'm going for Burscough. Draw. Said that quietly. So not to draw too much attention to himself.
He's going to kill me.
Charnock Richard versus FC St Helens. I'm going for Charnock Richard.
I'm going for FC St Helens.
Ramsbottom versus Prestwood Shades. I'm going for Ramsbottom.
Ramsbottom as well.
West Riding Cup first round. Liversedge versus Barnoldswick Town. I'm going for Liversedge.
For Barnoldswick.
Tadcaster Albion versus Steeton. I'm going for Tadcaster.
I'm going for Taddy as well.
And Wednesday, probably we'll have already mentioned these results by the time, will we? No, we'll be recording. Edward Case Cup first round North. Darwen versus Cone. I'm going for Darwen.
Nice little East Lancashire derby there between Blackburn and Burnley-based teams. I'm going to say Darwen.
Nelson versus MSB Walton. Oddly, played at Longridge Town. I don't know for what reason.
Really? Inglewhite Road is Longridge?
Something to do with floodlights, possibly. I don't know, but I'm going for Nelson.
Oh yeah, it's Longridge. Right, Thornton Cleveleys versus Main Road. Draw. Hang on, no, it's the Edward Case. It's got to be home or away. I'm going to say away. I'm just going to go against the grain there.
Yeah, I'm going Main Road as well. Bake Up versus Holker Old Boys. I'm going for Holker.
At the Bryan Boys Westview Stadium.
Yeah, that's the one. The Edward Case Cup first round, South Telford versus Eccleshall. I'm going for Telford on that one.
Yep.
And so, can I hear a dog in the background there?
Woof, woof, woof. Yes, you can.
Well, if you can hear a dog in the background, it's not mine.
It's not mine either.
No, it's an antisocial dog. Anyway, so where were we? Litherland versus Padiham in the Premier Division on Wednesday.
Bottom.
Yeah, Padiham all day long. West Didsbury and Chorlton versus Airland.
That's a great
I think that's
game,
a draw.
Yeah, that's a lovely little Manchester derby, that one. Yeah, I'll say a draw as well. Now we should point out, I'm going to be particularly gleeful about this one, is that Frank did mark his homework from last week, and he did get in touch with Jay.
I haven't been in touch with him about the results so far because we've got results tonight to be.
But there is only 2 of them to come in
to be concluded. But at this stage, the battle between 2 chairmen. Which is where the real battle was, is drawn at 24-24. That could be that could change. I've not even looked at what were
the two results.
What were the predictions to come in?
They were. Give us a minute. It was Garstang versus Ashton Town and Eccleshall versus Sandbach United, both of which play this evening.
Right, I'm just looking at what Jay went with. I'm looking at the wrong bloody thing. Yeah. Oh, so right. Yeah, he went 2 away wins. Oh yeah. Listen, we're both going away wins. So I can say that the battle between Burscough and Skelmersdale, the derby, chairman's derby, was settled 24 apiece. But I have to say the adjudicator. The
smug little sod over the other side of the table, flounced to victory.
Listen, I'm going to have to check it, to be fair.
What?
He's cheated, but
it's
a landslide victory of 31 points. And what can I say? There's 2 more results to go, so he could be even racing further ahead. So well done to AJ. Listen, it just shows you that maybe Burscough and Skem a little bit more matched than some people would like to think.
Also, now currently united in their contempt for me at this point.
Yeah, it would have been nice to get one over the old... but we technically did, didn't we, really? Because it's a 2-1 victory to us.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, because
Brilliant.
I beat Jay. So that rounds off the predictions for this weekend. So in terms of our game against the Grenadier, thoughts?
It's going to be a difficult game based on the fact that psychologically they've won 7 of their opening games. Mm-hmm. So from that perspective, they probably feel more confident against us. Yeah. But that said, we played extremely well in the last 2 games. We're going to have to tinker around with the squad a little bit again on Saturday, but we have got one player coming back in the shape of Zach Thomas, although I don't know whether he's available on Saturday, so he's coming back.
Is Duan back?
Duan is back from suspension, yes, so we've got him back. It depends on the lineup, of course.
Yeah.
What we're having to battle with is, shift amendments with teams. Players not being able to attend games. 1 or 2 little niggling injuries that could play a big part in Saturday's game. We're hoping Darren Eskew will be fit enough to play. So, we're hoping that Craig Fitzjohn will be fit enough, have recovered. From the he's 40 odd years of age, isn't he? God. We're hoping he's recovered from the excess. And listen, he played absolutely out of this world. He was fantastic on.
He was the calm in the storm.
Once he'd warmed up, he was unstoppable, and he was the calming force in the last 20 minutes when we were up a little bit. We were trying to preserve the lead. So. Whether he's there on Saturday remains to be seen because, like a lot of things, he has to put in a request to see whether he can do a shift change. So I don't know. I don't know whether he's going to be available. That could be a big miss.
Yeah.
But I just think generally that the good feel factor starts moving right throughout the team. It doesn't matter whether you're on the bench or you're just turning up for training and you've not quite made the squad. That feel good factor's there. That just sort of filters right across throughout the team. So, Yeah, listen, we're in a good position. We're in a better position had we have lost the last 2 games on top of the previous games. But no, we're not in that position now. We've got our first 3 points. We know how to win. We know how to score goals. I think I've said this before.
We've got the personnel to do it.
Yeah, we've got the personnel to do it, and I think we've got as good a chance as anyone to win that game on Saturday. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I was looking at the results from the Grenadier during the week. They've played, to their credit, they've played Liverpool Nalgo already, and they've played Joey Oars already. So there's 2 good, worthy wins under their belt. That being said, they've played a couple of teams sort of closer to our level. They've played MSB Woolton Reserves. I believe they played River Football Club twice. So a cup and a league game. So it's not as though they've played all the best teams and they're still out in front. They've scored quite a few in their games as well. I think their top scorer has 7 to his credit at the minute. So they are winning big on some games, but on others they may be only winning by 1 or 2. So it could really be anybody's game from that perspective. We just know that we've got to be as prepared for anything as what we possibly can.
A good result for us really is a good performance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a good performance.
We can get anything out of that point or 3 points. We're a glass half full rather than glass half empty. Yeah. I'm going for a win.
Okay. I'm going to say a draw. And I don't say that lightly. I think the Grenadier is probably going to be our toughest game since Sefton. Do
we feel as though pound for pound at this point are the better team? But
yeah, I think and interestingly enough, they haven't played Sefton yet.
No.
So that could
okay.
be
A win for me, a draw for you,
yes.
But a good performance.
If we take
above everything else,
I would take a good performance and a loss first. Quite honestly, and I know that sounds really silly, but that's how I'd see it. Yeah.
And listen, well done to the players and the management team.
All of them,
right through from the top right down to the the players. We've got a great strength and conditioning coach in Josh Yell. He's doing the business and training and the warm-ups pre-match, and of course we've got Eve Brocklehurst, who's our physiotherapist, and she's doing a brilliant job as well.
Certainly is. Yeah, I've seen her actively sort of pull the players to the side and just
I spoke to her on Tuesday night, and she's thoroughly enjoying it.
Is she?
Yeah, and that's the main thing.
It is, yeah.
Andy Barlow and Barney, they're enjoying it.
Yeah, they really are. You can tell that they are now.
And we're feeling it. We're enjoying training.
Mm-hmm.
We even to the point where Craig came down on Tuesday night and went to McDonald's and got us all a McDonald's coffee.
No kidding.
Yeah. So Craig went onto the pitch to speak to Barney and to speak to Andy and asked them if they wanted a coffee from McDonald's. Andy Ballard turned around and said, "I want a Big Mac as well." That wouldn't have been a good sight, would it?
Taking food orders.
Anyway, Craig turned around and said, "That's not happening, mate. You'll have to stick to a coffee." So I don't even think he had a coffee in the end. But listen, it's a great feeling at the moment, and long may continue. 100%. But it's a slow progression, but we're going in the right direction. Yeah, so listen, that concludes everything. Northwest Counties, all the controversial issues, all the Northern Premier League and the National League North. But listen, we come to that point of the show where we say, what did we learn in the last week?
What have we learned? What I have learned is that we must bask in the positivity and look at the glass half full as much as what we possibly can. I know that speaking to the management, as I have done this last week, and they've made it plain and obvious that there are still things that we need to learn, that the team need to learn and improve on. And I've no doubt that the 2 training sessions that they're going through each week address those those lessons. And I think that we've really got to enjoy the time that we're in right now, where everything is actually really quite harmonious. We're on a good run. The players are enjoying it. Everyone associated with this game at the minute is seeing positivity on and off the pitch. And I think we've really got to embrace that.
Well, I've learned how to smile again, which is an improvement on the miserable face that I've had in recent weeks.
Yeah.
It's been nice to smile, and that smile has been radiating right across since Saturday evening. And we forgot to mention it, but it was Barney's birthday.
It was
as well, and we managed to get him a cake, and he managed to blow the candles out successfully.
He did,
and then he had to do it twice then because Derek Hunt hadn't seen it first time round, so he insisted on the candles being relit, which we did.
Yep.
So it was a great roundup for his birthday and his birthday weekend. In fact, at training on Tuesday night, he was still a little bit worse for wear.
God,
but listen,
really carried it on,
he'd earned it. So
Yep.
brilliant. It's nice to learn how to smile again.
Yeah.
On the sort of negative side of that, and I do like to be glass half full rather than half empty. But somebody always tries to wee on your chips, and I'm not going to name names or anything. There's one or two of them out there. Really, really surprised by what you've been doing recently, but your card's marked. But best of luck to you in your endeavours. At least said about that, the better. But I've learned how to smile again. Yeah. Listen, on that note, I'll leave the final words to the dulcet tones of AJ.
You've been listening to the Speaking Frankly Football Show with me, AJ Vegette, and my co-host, Mr. Frank Hughes. This podcast is available on most streaming services where you get your podcasts, including Amazon Music and Spotify. Please rate and review, as we do thrive off your feedback. And please also subscribe so that you can be notified when a new episode of the show has been released. We are also available on social media sites, most prevalently X and Facebook, under the banner term Speaking Frankly Football Show. And so from me and Frank, we will see you next week for another episode of the show. Until then, bye-bye for now.